different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake
technology
of it. But
increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes.
Because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Master Connector Show. It must be Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, because that's when we go live here on LinkedIn. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovese, and, I'm excited to be with you guys every week because we're bringing you amazing guests, people you can really learn from. All my journey through business and through life has all been about learning. And I was really, I'm not overstating this, clueless into my 30s. I really didn't know what was going on. I was incredibly shy. And I really didn't know how to connect with people or build relationships or build business. And so I learned from other people. I watched people who are successful. I asked questions when I learned how to ask the proper questions, which is a skill in itself. But that's what this show is all about. It's bringing you people who are going to give you their skill set, their story, their experiences to help you level up. And, I want to thank, first of all, our sponsor of this show, Russ Hedge. Listen, or with 30 years of sales and marketing success in multiple industries, Russ Hedge can help you be successful in your business by helping you truly connect, transform your business, connect to new customers. RussHedge.com. Thank you, Russ Hedge, for always sponsoring our show each month. And if you want to, sponsor our show, you can do that. Go to masterconnector.show. And in the nav bar, click on sponsor an episode, and you can get your business mentioned here on the Master Connector Show and get the word out. This is all about connecting with other people, and what better way to do that through a live sponsorship. So masterconnector.show also has a list of all the guests we have coming up. We have the best guests coming on the show. We're talking accomplished people. We got authors. We got one today. We got podcasters. We got one today. We got TEDx speakers. We got successful business people. We have people who have done big things, and we want to bring them here to connect you with them. So go to masterconnector.show and bookmark your calendar every Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, so you don't miss a single episode. Listen, today's show, we want to be interactive. So when you're here, you don't just sit there. Don't just listen. Don't just watch. This isn't television from the 70s that you just watch it. We want to interact. So comment, like, share. You got questions? Put them in the comments. You can have a question asked of us, of our guests, whatever you want to know, because look, we want to help you level up. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We love hearing people from all over the place. I'm from New York. Steve's from Connecticut. We've got people from all around the world. So we got Samuel comes in from Kenya. Look, if you can come in here from Kenya, you can come in here from, Texas or Washington or wherever. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We got a great show for you today. So listen, Steve and I, we go way back. You always hear me say we're two former shy guys. And the reason I say that is because you don't have to be shy forever. I was shy into my 30s. We're both introverts, but it's an energy thing. Does not mean you can't talk to people or connect or build relationships, because Steve and I are living proof. We're not shy anymore, but we're still introverts. We're both master connectors, but he is the master connector. Bring him to the show, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Robbie G? I appreciate you. Listen, I am a New Yorker, okay? You could take, the guy out of New York, but you can't take New York out of the guy, okay? I'm living in Connecticut, and I'm blessed. We live right on the water. It's a beautiful spot, but I am still a New Yorker through and through. So I appreciate you calling me out on that. But just appreciate the partnership and the friendship, and it's been an incredible journey for 27 plus years. Amazing. But what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. Very blessed to be here, like I said. And listen, I got to tell you a quick story, right? So right out of college, I started a company, an advertising company with a partner, a guy named Peter. And Peter was a good guy, former Syracuse grad. And we were starting our journey. We started hiring some people, and I was doing what I thought was good. I was being a manager, if you will, managing people. And one day Peter comes up to me. He's like, Steve, I got good news. We're going to send you the company's going to send you on a course. A course is called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and by Dale Carnegie. And that was it. And so I started to learn about managing people and dealing with people, and I started to understand leadership. And since then, I've had incredible people in my life, got a mentor in my life. Rob and I shared that mentor for quite a while, and had the same mentor. We didn't share him, but we had the same mentor for a while. And I started to see that leadership is spelled EXAMPLE, example, right? And I saw the way he led, and the people that he influenced, right? And it's also, leadership is also influence. It's not what you say, it's what you do. And here's the thing he always would say is this. He says, whether you're a leader or not, you are always setting an example. And that example, good or bad, right? You're always going to be leading. You're leading in whatever you do on a day-to-day basis. So make sure that you're aware of that, because people are watching, right? And you don't have to have a broadcast like we do, a podcast and so forth. I think Rob mentioned it, but we also simulcast and on YouTube, and then this resides on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you're watching it on those platforms, we appreciate you. We take the time to put it on those platforms because we want to make sure that people are getting the message. But it's been an incredible journry. Excited to hear. We're going to talk about leadership, leading full throttle today. It's going to be an incredible show. So get your seatbelts on. It's going to be awesome. But if you're ready for my man, my co-host, Mr. Rob G, to introduce him, type in the chat right now, the comments. Let's go. And Robbie G, I'll pass it to you. Buddy.
All right, let's go, everybody. Paul Comfort is one of America's top public transportation leaders. He has spent over 30 years managing multiple transit operations as well as business development. Paul was CEO of one of America's top transit systems, the Maryland Transit Administration in Baltimore. He's the host and producer of the world's top public transportation executive podcast, Transit Unplugged. Heard in over 100 countries. And the new Transit Unplugged TV sensation on YouTube. I checked this out. You got to go there. It's called Transit Unplugged TV. Go to YouTube, check it out. Just look at the introductory video and you will be hooked. Paul has authored six best-selling books on public transportation, including the new 21 Lessons to Lead Full Throttle. Please welcome to the show, Paul Comfort. What's up, Paul?
Hey, man. Good to be with you, brother.
Good
Paul,
to have
you're
you.
slacking. 6 books, that's it? Come on, man. You got to step up your game,
Seventh is on the way.
Wow. Well, I appreciate having you on here. Just want to acknowledge our amazing community member, Yolanda, on the call with us from Texas. She says, let's go. And recently connected. We had a call today, Kathy Gruss on the call with us. Connect with these amazing folks here. Again, like Rob said, we're LinkedIn participants, not LinkedIn lurkers. Get in the comments, connect with each other, because this is the Master Connector Show. But let's get into it, Paul, right? We're talking about leading. We're talking about leading full throttle. So community, put in the comments right now, hashtag full throttle leadership. I know it's a mouthful, but put it in there. It's worth it. And we want to talk to Paul about this and kind of kick off this topic. So, Paul, I know you wrote a book about it. What does it truly mean to lead full throttle in today's world?
Well, thanks. And thanks for having me on the show. I'll tell you what it's not to start with. I remember walking through the back office of a government agency a couple of years ago, and I kid you not, there was at least 8 people on their computer screens, and everyone had Facebook or some type of social media on there when they were supposed to be working. This wasn't their lunch break. This is what they were doing for their job when no one was looking. So leading full throttle means giving your best and not settling for less as a leader. And I think that that's how you get recognized. You give your all to work. You give your best that you have. You don't kind of put your head down and try to make it to retirement, which is like kind of the lonely life that people lead. They stay at a job for 30, 35 years, and they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to make any changes. They just want to get to the end and retire. And then unfortunately, too often they have a heart attack 2 years in. So my approach to leadership is very different. It is to give your all right now, everything you've got, to whatever you're doing in your life. Put it all out there, lead full throttle. And you're going to make some waves along the way, and you may get knocked out of your boat, but it's all right. It's happened to me a number of times. I'm sure it's happened to most people who lead full throttle. You'll be picked up by another boat and have another amazing adventure. So that's my approach to life, and that's my approach to work.
That's awesome. And it's interesting. I don't think I caught the connection of you being in the transportation and throttle. I didn't.
You're just getting
I'm a
that.
little thick like that, So, but I get it now. And I'm like, okay, it's a cool title, but now I get it, right? Little fun going on there. That's awesome. So, listen, what I've learned is great leaders, they encourage, they uplift, right? This huge buzzword today is on management versus leadership. And, you want to inspire people and to a degree motivate. I believe motivation is an inside job, but you can inspire people to find the motivation within themselves. But a lot of it has to do with cheering them on and being there, the uplifter, the cheerleaders. So let's talk about this. So community, type in hashtag cheerleader or change agent. I know that's a lot. It's a mouthful. We're going to work on, Rob and I talk backstage. We're going to work to make these hashtags a little shorter next one. But here's the point. Paul, how could a leader tell if they're just cheering from the sidelines or actually driving change?
Yeah. Well, I think there are actually two roles that leaders can play. I've got a chapter in my upcoming book, Finding Your X Factor, with this title, which is, are you a change agent or are you a cheerleader? So roles are critical in order to be successful, right? If you come into an agency or your company and you're there, you're hired as a cheerleader, that has a whole different connotation, and the functions and the KPIs that measure that success are there. Versus if you come in like I did at the MTA in Baltimore with 5,000 employees and contractors, $1 billion budget, the governor sat me down on his couch and said, Paul, I need you to blow the place up and start over again, metaphorically speaking. It is one of the worst run agencies in state government. It is adrift, doesn't have any direction, and it's bloated, and it needs dramatic change. So I need you to come in and change things for me. So clearly I was given a mandate to change. So I think the first thing we have to do is understand, what is our role? What do you want to do in this job? And know that, in my experience in government agencies, if you come in as a change agent, you will have a limited lifespan expectancy in that job. Because when you come in and shake things up and push people, to work harder, or they're out, and all the changes you have to make, give new direction, there are people with a vested interest in the status quo. And they're going to do everything they can to slow roll and to push you off what you're trying to get done. And eventually they may push you out of your job, but you may hopefully have been able to achieve the changes you wanted to make. So I think the first key is understand what it is I want to do in this job. What is my role? If you want to be a change agent and you're on the sidelines, like you inferred, just cheering on, it'll become pretty obvious, right? You're not driving change. You don't have goals and objectives and report back on what you want to achieve. You're just standing on the sidelines cheering. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's a place for that. A lot of what I do in my current role with one of the world's largest software companies, the largest transit software company, transportation software, is I'm cheering on the people that we serve, the public transit agencies and their CEOs. I'm trying to help them share best practices. And oftentimes, when we have a quiet moment, I'll talk to them about what's going on in their career and in their agency and try to coach them. But I'm not changing anything inside my company. I'm promoting the industry of public transportation and now moving into leadership.
Yeah. I love that whole, the disparity between the two. Like, both are valuable. And I think, this is just my perspective. There are cheerleaders who cannot not cheer, right? They're that way. They're vibrant. They love people and they want to see people win, right? But that's all they can really do because that's their thing. That's not me. In fact, I'm kind of the opposite. I'll give you a little bit of cheering, but if you don't move, I'm done, because I need to make things happen. I remember I had this job one time when I was still in corporate, and I'm a creative guy. I came in, I managed creative departments my whole corporate career, and I came into this company and they had a shambles of a creative department, and they kept the person who wrecked it because of some kind of political thing, brought me in to fix everything with that person or despite that person. And I remember, Paul, this is interesting. After the day of meeting everybody, we sit down and she looks at me. There's another person there. She goes, so tell me something. What the hell are you doing here? Like, okay. And I'm supposed to work with this person. And, I'm a nice guy until you just put your cards on the table. And then I was like, I'm here because this place is a mess. and I'm going to fix it all. So the whole change agent thing, I think we need both, right? Because they had people who were cheering us on as a department, but they had me there to make sure things got changed, because you can cheer all you want, right? Doesn't mean people know what to do.
That's right. I remember back to that MTA job I had, and somebody reminded me of this later on, but I went to our first big staff meeting, like 100 people there, the top layers of leadership and some of the mid-level management. And I said to them, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make a difference. And that is knowing that up front, going in and then being able to cast a vision for everyone. For us there, what I changed the whole agency around to was safety, efficiency, reliability, and world-class customer service. And everything we did was now going to focus on those 4 cornerstones of building a successful public transportation agency. And we did. We became one of the best transit agencies in America. We won lots of awards and did lots of things that, external validation of what we were doing, but it required a relentless full throttle leadership, not only from the top position, but I needed an entire leadership team that would help me accomplish it. An agency that big, spanning a whole state, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, like I said, thousands of employees and 6 modes of transportation. You need a strong team around you as well that is just as committed as you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's interesting, right? So you mentioned something early on, which is vision, right? And it's we've got Kathy Gross who's on here. Connect with her because she specializes in helping people with their vision, right? But I believe that's it. I mean, one thing is to look to create a change, but the other thing is to cast a vision and to kind of paint that vision for people, and so they buy into it. Because to Rob's point, you're going to have people, and you said it also, Paul, that people are going to resist. But if they buy into a vision, then you can help them, right? Easily, or a little easier, right? For sure. Yeah. So before we get too deep here, I want to just acknowledge a few people. I want to acknowledge, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, Adil Arman. Welcome. I don't think we've seen you on the show, at least I haven't. And I know Samuel got a shout out before he might have even joined us on the show here. Rob shouted him out, but Samuel, good to have you back here. And it's great having everyone on the show. And I know there's other people that are just lurking. So get in the comments. We want to know you're here. But anyway, let's keep the ball rolling, right? So there's lots of lessons that we learned through business, through being in leadership roles. So community, type in #leadership, leadership lessons. And here's the question, right? What's one standout leadership lesson from your book, The 20 Lessons for Full Throttle, that changed your approach?
Yeah. So the book, 21 Lessons to Lead Full Throttle, we've actually, that was a book I was working on, but I've changed the title. It's probably going to be Finding Your X Factor. And I'm about ready to sign with a major publisher this week. We've been negotiating for the last couple of weeks. So very excited about it. My agent is working on it as we're talking today. And finding your X Factor means finding where your interests and abilities intersect. And that is kind of finding the treasure map in your soul to what you're going to, what's your sweet spot? Where can you wake up every morning with fire in the belly, excited? And it is where your interests are, right? That's what you love doing. That's the core of your hobbies, all those things. But then where it intersects with what you're good at, your abilities. Too often people are told, follow your heart, follow your dreams. That's foolhardy. I've had a friend growing up. I had a band, Sons of Thunder, and we recorded an album and toured. I play keyboard and sing. And a good buddy of mine, Don, who wanted to sing. And he's like, Paul, I really want to sing. And this was his voice. He was awful. And I said to him, Don, man, why don't you pick up guitar or try to be a sound man? You could be the sound man in our band or do the lights. But dude, your voice isn't there. So people that only follow their dream, and their passion, a lot of times they'll end up month to month living in an apartment with they try to make that career because they just don't have the skills. So my suggestion is how to find your X factor, where your success is going to lie, right? Is where your interests and abilities intersect. That's the circle spot. So that's a lesson that comes out of what I'm teaching now.
You're great points, and it reminds me of a thing that happened to me earlier in my childhood. So my mom picks up the guitar, and she's learning how to play, and she says to my dad, what would you like me to play? And he's like, do you know how to play Far, Far Away? And I don't know if you get that, but you basically get away from me because you're horrible, right? So anyway, I just thought I'd bring a little humor to the idea here.
Yeah.
Corny joke. I'm known to have corny jokes like my dad, so that's the way it is. But you're stuck with me. Anyway, let's keep the ball rolling, right? So vision and purpose, they kind of go hand in glove, right? We were talking about that before, and you were talking about having the ability to find what drives you and what motivates you. And to me, when I found my purpose, it was right before COVID hit. I wrote out a life's mission statement and the purpose of why I'm here on this planet. And that purpose will take me, that vision will take me all the way into my grave until the next phase of eternity for me. So let's talk about it. So, community, type in hashtag purpose driven. So why is knowing your destiny so crucial to effective leadership, Paul?
I love that question, man. It's funny you mentioned it too, and you brought up that you had written your life mission. I think that's important for us, right? To know what our mission is. Stephen Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, taught us that you have to begin with the end in mind, right? You've got Alice in Wonderland, who goes up to the Cheshire Cat at a fork in the road and says, "Which way should I go?" Right? And the Cheshire Cat says, "Well, where are you going to?" She said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, then either road will do." And that's the lesson, right, of knowing what your destiny is, right? You need to have a destiny. You need to know what your life mission is. I just changed mine. I've had the same life mission for the last 10 years, written down, up on my wall, that kind of stuff. And just this last week, I did a full analysis of where I was at in my life right now and totally changed my life mission and wrote it down. It's
Oh, got a little technical glitch there.
my professional journey, a different mission, which I think I can be very successful at. And so knowing where you're going, right, is critical. I live in the country in Queen Anne's County, which is on the eastern shore of Maryland, across from Annapolis. And I live out in an agricultural area, lots of farmers there. And before they had GPS, I remember I was a county commissioner and I was elected county commissioner. I was talking to some of the farmers and I said, "How do you guys on your tractors get those straight lines, where you're just, it's like, I could set a compass by it. You're going back and forth in the field plowing." And the farmer told me, "Paul, here's what we do. I find a point of reference at the end of the field, usually a tree or something at the edge. And I just look at it the entire time I'm driving. I don't look left or right. I keep my eye on that tree and I just drive right toward it. And that's how I get a straight line, right? And so what's the quickest way between here and where you're from A to B? It's a straight line. And so the way to do that is to keep your eye on the prize. You got to keep your focus on where you're headed. And every now and then you need to stop and take a point of reference when you get to the end. Is this what I want to be doing? Is this where I want to go? And you may need to change your destiny or your destination. But then you need to focus on that as a point of reference and drive toward it. And don't expect that your ship is going to come in. It won't come in 99 out of 100 times. You have to work it to make that happen. You have to be willing. That's why it's so critical, I think, to have passion for what you're doing, because that'll keep you motivated, right? And that's where you find it in your X factor, where your interests and abilities intersect. Because you're interested in it, it gets you up every morning with a fire in the belly, and you're like, yes, I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, what I think a lot of people don't even think about with that, Paul, is, they think purpose, like, oh yeah, I don't need purpose. I just need to, get business. I need to get clients. I need to do this. I need to do that. And, what most people fail at is consistency. Now, Steve is probably one of the most consistent people I've ever met in my life. And look, he's got a lot of skills and talents and everything. But if he had none of that, the consistency will help him win out. So people go, I got sidetracked or things got crazy. So they took their foot off the pedal. And what they don't understand is that purpose is the fuel you need to drive you when you don't want to go on any particular day. And, I've discovered the value of that in my life. I have a purpose statement in my head. The reason I show up to business is my purpose runs through my head. It's the fuel, everybody. It's the fuel you need. And then the vision, like the post in the field, that's where where you want to go. When I started my company 7 years ago, I wrote down I got clients and I'm like, okay, now I got clients. Let me just take a few minutes. And I wrote down what I want the company to look like, the vision for it in my life. And that gave me my North Star. So every decision I made was to lead me towards that. I didn't lose sight of that. That's how you make decisions in life. So it's a great, great point, Paul. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. And I know Paul's video is a little funky. I just want to say, speaking of right vision and purpose, right? I mean, Paul, I don't know how much he wants to share, but he's got some incredible, beautiful news coming up in his life and his family. And, we were talking about potentially having him not be on today because of the change and, stuff that was going on. He's like, no, I'm going to make it work. I'll figure it out. So now instead of being in his home studio, he's in a hotel room, and obviously Wi-Fi can be a little funky. So in case you're wondering about his background, but again, it's all about purpose and focus, right? Because he wasn't going to be denied. He was going to figure it out one way or the other. I got a text, hey, I figured out with my wife, we're gonna drive tonight. We're not going to go sometime tomorrow. So kudos to you and keeping your eye on the vision up ahead. So great stuff. I just want to acknowledge Kathy. Kathy's been putting in some nuggets and great stuff here in the comments. Thank you. If having vision and purpose fuels us and gives us a GPS. I agree that time to time we need to make time for self-reflection to monitor if changes are needed. Yeah, it's really, really, really true. Let's keep it going here. We're just about to I'm going to sneak one in here and then we'll wrap up here. But I want to talk about destiny, right? And so you immediately type in hashtag discover your destiny. What practical steps can someone take to uncover their true calling as a leader? As we wrap up.
That's good. Yeah. So I think we need to take time to be quiet. And I have a chair in my house that's very soft and comfortable, and I will sit in it on a regular basis and take my mind out of drive and put it in neutral. It's not in park, it's not in drive. Let all the thoughts just rush through and practice a form of meditation. It's not maybe what some people think of meditation, but it's where I will just get silent and let my intuition, my subconscious mind, whatever you want to call it, speak to me and give me creative ideas about what needs to be done, right? We've all had creative ideas in the shower, right? You're in the shower, your mind's in neutral. That's what I got to do next. So I think one of the keys is to let the internal power of your subconscious mind work for you. That's what your dreams are at night. It's your mind shuffling things around, the memories and things you have. Dream while you're awake. Let your mind bring you creative ideas of what you need to do next to be successful. I think that's a key to fulfilling your destiny is creative ideas, not just the day-to-day trudgery, but the new, fresh ideas which can help you grow exponentially.
It's great. I love it. Well, I appreciate it. So, this has been amazing. We could probably go for another 2 hours on this. This is fantastic. Thank you, Paul, for, again, doing what you had to do to be on the show with us. We appreciate it. I know you have some things you'd like the audience to do, a call to action, if you will, and then what's the best way for our community to reach you? And community, you need to reach out to Paul for sure.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor to be on your program, guys. So I would just encourage people, if you want to connect up with me, find me on LinkedIn, Paul Comfort, and got like 26,000 people I'm connected with there. And watch our show. It's fun. We have a travel show now. It's Anthony Bourdain meets public transit. It's called Transit Unplugged TV. We have millions of views. We just won a Telly last week, which is the highest award you can win really in the industry for cable TV shows. So we're very excited. And it's a fun 20-minute monthly show. We take you to a different city. I just did one in Baltimore, actually, this last week. We show you the food, the fun, the culture, and then show you behind the scenes of their public transportation system. It's a fun connection. It's what I spent my life working on in transit. So it is my X factor. It's what I'm interested in and what I've got some skill sets in, put it together on one show, and we make it entertaining and fun to watch. Transit Unplugged TV on YouTube. Follow us there.
I love it. When are you going to come to Stanford? I'll host you out here, and we'll do Stanford here.
We're going to be in Connecticut with CT Transit in July. We're filming in Connecticut.
Well, let me know.
Right.
Love to somehow be a part of it. But Paul, thank you so much. You've been a blessing. I'm going to have you go in the green room, but thank you again for blessing our community. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. There we are. We're back. Okay. All right. Well, good stuff. That was amazing. Again, we're so blessed to have incredible guests on our show. And if you want to learn more, next week we have episode 214 on Wednesday, 6/3. Same bat time, same bat channel, 1 p.m. EST. Diamonds in Your Database with Beth Granger. It's going to be an incredible show. Don't miss it. And if you want to learn more about some of the up and coming shows, go to masterconnector.show. I know Rob is updating the site as we speak, so it's been amazing. But I want to finish with a quick story, right? After losing both his legs in combat, U.S. Army veteran Noah Galloway could have faded into despair, but instead he chose faith and purpose to lead from the front. Fueled by gratitude and desire to inspire others, he became a motivational speaker, fitness advocate, and finalist on Dance with the Stars, proving that leadership is about heart, not just ability. His journey reminds us that you lead with vulnerability, courage, and conviction. Others will follow with strength, with the strength that they didn't even know they had. So, folks, let's choose faith and courage and lead the way so that we can ultimately shine our light. God bless. See you next week.
And you start to hear some of their challenges. And yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives